season 3 happening, episode 3, and I have an interesting guest with me. And I've already created a lots of buzz on social media, so you might be aware whom I'm talking about. But let me quickly introduce. Well, he is an Indian television producer, author, a stand-up comedian, of course, and also director of the most liked and very famous TV series that's called Savdhan India and Ishq. So let me quickly invite Anirban Bhattacharya. Hello,
Hello,
sir.
hello, hello, Mona Lisa. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Welcome to my talk show.
Thank you so much. It's lovely being here.
Yeah,
It's
truly
good.
my honor, and I'm really grateful that you
Uh,
readily
It's my
accepted my
honor
invitation.
also. It's my honor. It's my honor
Okay.
as well to be on your talk show. Third season. So it's a
Yeah,
very
third
successful
season, episode 3.
talk show. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, I'm really grateful to all the authors who are supporting the journey.
It's
So
good.
that,
But authors are always, we are always pyar ka bhuka. You know,
I know that.
we will go anywhere we are invited. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
hats off to you and platforms like yours, which actually give us space to share our books with the world. So हम तो पहुंच जाएंगे. वो दिल चाहता है मैं डायलॉग नहीं था सैफ अली खान का, फ्री में बर्थडे केक खाने के लिए हम कहीं भी पहुंच जाएंगे. तो वो हम है.
That's true.
So, but thank you for creating this talk show where authors can come and showcase their work. So yeah, that's good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I want to firstly talk about your latest book, that's called "Enter at Your Own Risk." Well, the title
Mm,
itself is something that catches the attention, and we can easily make out that something sinister is happening here. So, firstly,
mm.
I want to know that why did you choose this title? Yeah, that's the book, "Enter at Your Own Risk." This is really the
So
cover page is
so
something amazing.
yeah, so the cover page is done by a very brilliant designer at Fingerprint called Gavin. He's a
Okay.
very fine artist, and he also had done the cover of my last book, which is The Hills Are Burning.
Okay.
So this is been created by him. So this is a horror anthology. It's got 6 stories set in real haunted places of India, and what happens when our characters, our fictional characters, enter into that world. So all haunted places in India or anywhere in the world usually have a story. कि
Absolutely.
क्या हुआ था यहाँ पे, सालों पहले खून
Hmm.
हुआ था या कोई डिस्ट्रक्शन हुआ था या श्राप दिया गया था, जो भी है. तो
Yeah.
और यहाँ पे पिशाच रहता है या दानव रहता है या चुड़ैल रहती है, जो भी है. तो once our characters enter these real haunted places of India, they encounter that legend or that story coming to life,
Okay.
and then what happens to them.
So, have you
Um,
taken some inspiration from real stories somewhere, like those which are popular among people?
yeah, so the 6 places that are there in the book are known for its paranormal activity.
Okay.
Across India and across people know them, like Bhangar
Oh
in
yes, yes.
Rajasthan, which is the deserted village, or there is a hotel in Mussoorie,
Hmm.
or there is uh, a hill in Kurseong called Dow Hill, which
Okay.
supposedly is haunted. Then there is Delhi se Agrasen ki Bauli,
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
is
I've heard
supposed to,
about it.
you're not supposed to go there at night because the water spirit will call you and drown you.
Hmm.
So places like that, 6 real haunted places of India. So when you read it, when the readers read it, it will sort of take you back, and you will recognize the places and the stories associated with them.
Okay. So, did you do any research, or it was all like inspirational and fiction based? And did you even visit the places?
Yes, I did. Yes. So
Okay.
I grew up in Kalimpong, which is near
Okay.
Kurseong. So I have made trips to Kurseong. I went to Bhangar as well with another author friend of mine called Dr. Nirvan. And so a lot of research went into the history of the
Okay.
places. Like there is a place called Abbott Mount, which is in Lohagarh. So I wrote to the original family, the Abbott family, who
Okay.
owned the place till about a few years ago. So I wrote to them and to know more about the history of the place. They sent me photographs and they sent me, their own childhood experiences of living there with their parents and you know how it was living there in the mountains. So a lot of research has gone in. So it's not just a very, I mean, it's a great thrilling horror read for sure, but it also has a lot of research associated with it.
Okay.
From true incidents and true historical events.
Hmm. So I was noticing while you were promoting, you have started few of promotions through your videos and all teasers. So I was noticing that you have to scan a code and you experience some sort of
Yes.
uncanny music. So how is it, and
Yes.
how did this
So
idea come about?
so I was thinking कि किताबें तो बहुत सारे हैं.
Yeah.
When a reader enters into a bookstore or goes online, so when he or she goes online, then they're
Hmm.
looking for particular books.
Hmm.
क्योंकि उनको पता है कि हाँ मुझे यही किताब चाहिए, वो ढूंढते हैं, तो खरीद के निकल जाते हैं. लेकिन जब कोई बुक स्टोर जाता है, तो दैट इज मोर ऑफ अ एक्सपीरियंस. They
Yeah.
take a book out, they see it, they feel
Hmm.
it, smell it, read at the back, क्या है, कैसा है. Um, how does my book then become a differentiator amongst the thousands of books in that bookstore or
Hmm.
the millions and billions of books, say on Amazon?
Hmm.
What is going to make the reader? What is the extra thing that I'm giving the reader? कहानी
Hmm.
तो सब देते हैं,
Yeah.
कहानी तो सब लिखते हैं, बट
True.
कहानी के अलावा मैं क्या दे सकता हूँ रीडर को. और आइडिया आया कि आई वांटेड टू. So a lot of people have said that my writing is very visual. It feels like you're watching a film. So वहाँ से idea आया कि why don't I actually give the reader an experience of a
Hmm.
film? So
Okay.
while they are reading, पूरा background music उस scene के लिए compose किया गया है with
Okay.
complete sound effects and everything. तो जब आप पढ़ रहे हैं
Okay.
कि people are walking in the snow, you can hear the footsteps in the snow in the
Wow.
soundtrack. When they hear owl hooting, you will hear the owl hooting in the
Okay.
soundtrack or the screams and everything. So I thought that will be a great immersive experience,
Hmm.
for the reader. मजा भी आएगा. और ये
Achha.
genre भी ऐसा है कि you can experiment with it. It's not literary fiction.
Hmm. Hmm. True.
कि वो हो कितने सीरियस है भैया, नहीं नहीं ये सब मत करो, मजाक है ये तो. Horror is something you can really and the readers of horror are beautiful people. They love being entertained. Entertainment comes first in their experience. So what I've done is every story
Okay.
has a scene that I've marked out.
Okay.
Okay, in that scene, if it's in bold, that scene is in bold, and there is a
Okay.
sort of QR code. So when you scan this
QR code.
QR code, it
Okay.
takes you to YouTube, where
Okay.
the entire soundtrack is there.
Okay.
So you start reading, it gives you a counter, 3, 2, 1. You start reading, you press play, and then the soundtrack accompanies you while you're reading. So yeah,
Amazing.
new
Wow.
experience, new
New experience.
experiment.
Absolutely. This is really innovative. I haven't heard anything like this before.
Yeah, so this is the world's first book that comes with its own soundtrack.
So this
So
was your brainchild, the whole idea.
yes, yeah. तो वो रात
Amazing.
में सोच रहा था मैं कैसे कर सकता हूँ, क्या एडिशनली रीडर को मैं दे सकता हूँ, तो वो आइडिया आ गया. एंड ऑल्सो बिकॉज आई ऑल्सो लिसन टू अ लॉट ऑफ music while I'm writing.
Okay.
So sometimes when I need help for the mood of a scene, then I play that kind of music. So
Okay.
whether it's thrill, whether it's a chase, whether
Hmm.
it's suspense, whether it's horror, then I'll play
Okay.
that kind of music. तो वो सुन के मैं सोचा कि suppose I take this into And it's not
Hmm.
about an e-book or an audiobook. Audiobook, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a very visceral experience. जो खरीदता है
Hmm.
उसको वो एक्सपीरियंस मिल जाएगा. तो ये है.
Movie like experience. Wow, amazing.
Yes.
So this is really interesting.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so
Thank you.
I really want to know about some of your other books that you've written. So let's start with the debut book, The Deadly Dozen, India's most
Mm-hmm.
notorious serial killers. I really want
Yes.
to know that is it based on true events and why did you choose to
Yes.
write on such a gory topic?
Um, because क्योंकि मैं I was already doing Savdhan India at that point of time, right? I was
Okay.
doing Savdhan India, and so I was always, I was breathing and living through crime at that point of time. And
Hmm.
I was going to write something else, but my publisher, which is Suhail Mathur, not publisher, my literary agent, which is Suhail Mathur,
Literally.
and the book bakers, तो उन्होंने कहा कि देखो, you already have a hit crime show, real true crime show. So you should write non-fiction
Okay.
and you should write a true crime book. So that's how the Deadly Dozen came. मैं दो तीन
Okay.
proposals I had presented to the publishers, and Penguin immediately picked up the Deadly Dozen. I think within a span of 3 4 days, or maybe a week of presenting it to
Wow.
them, and that's how it was commissioned. And yeah, so it's based on all true events, true serial killers of India, 12 of them. Or thankfully the book has done really, really well. So it's in its third edition now. It's a bestseller. It was
Wow.
recommended by John Abraham, Ayushman, um, launched by Anurag Kashyap. So yeah, that book has had a good journey so far. My
So
first book baby.
okay. And since you are into direction and production, so do you plan to, change these into a movie or something in future?
Yeah, so we've pitched these things, and it takes a bit of time for things to
Yeah.
move. Yeah, so we've pitched all of my books are out there with
Okay.
various production houses and various platforms. So in different stages. So, fingers
Hmm.
crossed. It will hopefully get presented on screen someday.
Well, my best wishes to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now let's talk about your book, which you have written on India's money heist.
Mm-hmm.
How do you pronounce it? Chalembra bank robbery.
Chalembra, Chalembra,
Chalembra. Okay. So I
Chalembra.
want to know a little more about this book.
Yes. So this is India's money heist,
Okay.
and this is about the biggest bank robbery that happened in India um,
Okay.
in 2008. 80 kgs of gold was stolen, so which was I think worth about 8 crores, 8.5 crores, and it was the biggest bank robbery that took place. That was in Kerala. So I got in touch with. So this case had fascinated me for a while because there was nothing available, to read. There was no details available, online or in reporting or anywhere about this case. And so I got in touch with the police officer and his team
Okay.
who solved the case.
Okay.
So this was Inspector Vijayan and his team who solved the case, and this is some of the gold that was recovered.
Okay. Wow.
And
Amazing.
yeah, so he was posted in a district called Malappuram. So this is the police
Okay.
team, and so during the COVID, it was 2 years of writing and researching this book, and
Hmm.
it's a it's a huge hit. The book has really been blessed by readers and liked by readers, and hopefully we'll also see a screen adaptation soon of the book.
Wonderful. Wow. So did you have to take special permissions as well since you write on the topics which are quite,
Mm.
like true incidents,
Yeah.
and also you have to do a lot of journalism also. I guess that also remains
Yes. Yes.
involved in
Yes.
the
Yes.
process.
Yeah,
So, okay, how much
absolutely.
span does it take you to complete a book when you just have this idea and then I can already see you have some 6 7 books to your credit.
So it takes about a minimum of a year,
Okay.
especially if it's a non-fiction book. Like Deadly Dozen took me a year to research and write. Um,
Okay.
India's Money Heist took me 2 years to research and write. Uh, then my other book, which is called The Hills Are Burning, so that took me about 6 7 years because I was
Okay.
writing, rewriting, new research
Hmm.
was coming in, I was talking to a lot of people, and so yeah, it depends again on the book, you know.
Okay.
Like my horror book took me about 8 months
Okay.
to write because it was a much easier
Hmm.
genre to write.
And
एक्सेप्ट मैं खुद डर जाता था रात को
okay.
लिखने लिखने के वक्त. I used to I write in the night,
Oh.
when the house is asleep, and then I would be writing something and I would imagine somebody standing, beside me, or I hear a sound. I used to get scared. I used to pack my laptop, go to sleep, you know. So it took, I think, 9 months. It took because of that only. Otherwise, I would have finished it in six.
Okay. And I really want to know that mostly your earlier books are all like crime thriller, real incidents based. So suddenly, why did this transition happen into horror? What inspired you?
So
Did you actually
I
experience something
Yes, so I've
supernatural or something?
experienced a bit of paranormal things on my own, but
Okay.
I was writing and producing a show called Fear Files. I don't know
Okay.
whether you're familiar with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, absolutely. I've watched every series of
It
yours.
used to air on Z. Great hit show. Kids loved it. All of it,
Yeah.
all the audience members loved it. I I don't like to get stuck in one genre. A lot of authors feel comfortable doing that.
Hmm.
um, uh, I write across genres,
Yeah.
and if I have a story to tell, then I will tell, and I will do a good job of it. I will not do it for the sake of trying to be different. Right? So
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
second book is a kids book, which is a
Okay.
young adult fiction, at the
Okay.
adventurous six, and now this horror book. I like experimenting with genres. It also keeps me fresh,
Hmm.
as a writer also. Then for next 6 months I'm writing horror. I'm tuned to a different frequency. Uske
Yeah.
baad I can go back to true crime, or I can go back to a kid's book, and
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
that's how I that's how I write.
Okay. Wonderful. And do you get beta reading or something like from your
Yeah.
family members, maybe, or somewhere outside?
Couple of my friends I give it,
Okay.
and it's more like looking for mistakes,
Okay.
things, because what happens, you read the manuscript so many times, no, I mean, there's so many
Hmm.
errors in it, and also to get a sense of did they enjoy it or not. But I don't give it to random beta readers.
Okay. Yeah.
uh, I have 2 3 people, my best friends, who I give, and I know they will be brutally honest,
Yeah. Okay.
uh, and so they are the ones who get to read it first,
Okay.
and then.
Nice. Okay. Now let's talk about your fifth book, The Hills Are Burning.
Mhm.
I really want to know that the title has a strong message hidden in it. So, what is the topic that you chose to write through it?
So the hills are burning, which is published by the Fingerprint,
Okay.
and represented by Book Baker. So the hills are burning is about my memoir. It's
Okay.
my coming of age story. I grew
Hmm.
up and studied in a school in a place called Kalimpong, which is near Darjeeling,
Okay.
in the north of West Bengal, in the hills. And I was there during the mid 80s, when there was a revolution that took place, wanting for a separate statehood of Gorkhaland.
Gokalan, yeah.
So तब हम बच्चे थे और बोर्डिंग
Hmm.
स्कूल में थे, काफ़ी प्रोटेक्टेड थे,
Yeah.
लेकिन that revolution really affected a lot of us, because we got to see, hear things that children shouldn't be, privy to.
Okay.
Um, so the story basically follows three friends, three teenage friends, which is two classmates and me,
Hmm.
across 2 years
Okay.
of the revolution. And it also, what it has done is, a lot of the incidents were actually buried. सब लोग भूल गए थे या दबाया गया था. So
Hmm.
I researched for 6 years with lots of people from Kalimpong and
Okay.
brought out those true stories. So
Okay.
now one gets the true picture of what really happened,
Okay.
or the kind of things that the people of Kalimpong suffered, and the innocence was lost forever.
Hmm. Okay.
So it's
That's right.
also a book about friendship, loyalty. It's about falling in love, boarding school ka masti, all of
Fashion.
that. हाँ हाँ, और वो सब है.
Okay. Okay.
And then of course it gets serious.
Serious. Yeah. Okay. The title is really intriguing, I have to admit,
Mm,
and because my in-laws are, I belong to now a Pahadi household, so I've also heard some stories about how a lot of massacre happened during this
yes.
revolution.
So which pahar do your in-laws are from?
We are from Almora. I
Almora.
am
Okay.
Bengali, but now married to a Pahadi.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
even this cover is designed by Gavin. So we were very
okay.
very. So this book was it was also about representation, the correct representation of people, and
Hmm.
the telling of the true story. So if
Okay.
you see, the topi which the thing is wearing is a Dhakai topi, which is worn
Hmm.
by people of the region. The Kanchenjunga at the back is the same Kanchenjunga you'll see from Kalimpong. So we were
Yeah.
very very careful about giving the people of hills their voice.
Hmm. Hmm.
We didn't want it to be a caricature or a typical book where they are not the main characters. So this is a story about them. It's about the hills. So
Okay.
yeah.
And I really want to know that you grew up in Kalimpong. That's a
Hmm.
beautiful place, and now in Bombay.
Yes,
So do you miss being there?
absolutely. Without fail, every day. Um, you know, I can, like, if I close my eyes, I can visualize every corner of my school. I can smell the fresh grass. Or hear the rain on the tin roof of our classrooms. And so yeah, it's a lot of memories there. And I yes, of course, we do miss it. All my classmates as well. We all miss being back there. Oh, to be young again.
Okay. So let's now talk about your crime series, Savdhan India.
Hmm.
Uh, Obviously, by now I can tell that you have a strong inclination towards the crime genre and all. So I just want to know that, firstly, what hit you? I mean, why did this idea suddenly come that you want to, like create a series on real crimes and all? And did it ever disturb you mentally, like while making these episodes and series? And also, did you have to take special permission from the family, because obviously emotional angle was also attached to the people who have suffered?
So the first part of the question as to क्राइम शो क्यों बनाया हमने,
Hmm.
क्योंकि उस वक्त सोनी पे क्राइम पेट्रोल चल रहा था.
Okay.
And Star wanted, which is Life OK, wanted a true crime show,
Okay.
and that is when we came up with this
Savdhan.
Savdhan India. And it was a different kind of a show where crime
Hmm.
patrol में police investigation होता है.
Yeah.
Savdhan India में it is the story of the underdog or the victim fighting back. So therefore it was
Yeah.
India fights back.
Hmm.
और काफी हिट हो गया, touch wood. And we beat crime patrol for a long time.
Okay.
We were ahead of them. And
Okay.
uh, so it was a great experience, doing that show. And of course sometimes it was very disturbing, क्योंकि जो stories
Hmm.
हम दिखाते थे, या जब रिसर्च के दौरान हम हमको पता चलता था, the details of the case and क्यों हुआ, कैसे हुआ. तो we used to get disturbed a lot.
Yeah.
So a lot of the, and because it was television, we had to censor also a lot of the stuff. So we couldn't
Yeah.
show. We changed a little bit here there. We had to cut down on the violence,
Hmm.
and the cases which we did were all closed cases. So they
Okay.
weren't sub judice. So no permission was
Okay.
required, and we of course changed the names of the victims and the perpetrators. We usually changed the so अगर क्राइम कलकत्ता में हुआ है तो हम गुवाहाटी दिखा देते थे. So
अच्छा.
there is no
Okay.
legal implication. But वो केस तो अगर व्यूअर देखता था वो एपिसोड, व्यूअर को पता चल जाता था, अरे अच्छा वो ये वाला केस है,
Okay.
because they were well known cases.
Hmm.
So that's how we produced Savdhan India.
And आप लोगों को रियली में भी फैमिलीज जो सफर करते थे, डिड यू हैव टू कनेक्ट विद देम एज वेल फॉर द होल एक्सपीरियंस रियलिस्टिक?
So we used to get a lot of emails and messages from families who were facing trouble. They looked on the show as, क्योंकि हम हर एपिसोड में कुछ ना कुछ सीख देते थे कि अगर आपके साथ ये हो रहा है, आप ये कर सकते हैं, इसको कंप्लेन कर सकते हैं, यहाँ जा सकते हैं, ये कानून आपके लिए बनाया हुआ है. तो हम सीख देते थे उनको. तो बहुत सारे व्यूअर्स को लगने लगा कि हम एक हेल्पलाइन है और एक सहारा जैसा है. तो दे यूज्ड टू राइट टू अस saying कि my daughter-in-law has been beaten up by her husband, she's facing danger, what do we do, only Savdhan India can help us. So we then used to direct them to the police, because we are a television show.
Okay.
We don't have the legal implication, we're not even an NGO.
Yeah.
So we used to then tell them ये है solutions आपके पास, आप जा सकते हैं, पुलिस के पास जा सकते हैं.
Okay.
If this is say a woman abuse case, you can go to a woman's helpline or an NGO. तो उस तरीके से हम डायरेक्ट करते थे उनको. लेकिन the blessing is, आज मैं कहीं से चली जाऊँ, कोई भी छोटा सा गांव में भी चला जाऊँ इंडिया में और बोलूँ सावधान इंडिया, तो लोग they know of the show. So that has been a huge blessing, जो हम expect कभी किए नहीं थे कि ऐसा इतना hit show होगा. And the channel was very good to us as well. Life Okay. और फिर स्टार भारत बन गया वो. So yeah, so the journey of Savdhan was very, very good.
So do you plan to bring out further seasons?
So seasons अभी 2012 से लेकर 2023-24 तक इस साल में खत्म हुआ. So we usually the show takes a break in between. Or I had produced almost 1,500 episodes. So and then we weren't producing. I was writing, directing, separately. So अभी the show is on a break. It depends on the channel कि वापस वो लाएंगे कि नहीं, और देखते हैं.
Okay. We'll look forward, because that was one of the shows जो हम लोग रात को वेट करते थे देखने के लिए.
Thank you.
So anything you want to read from any of your book, or maybe the new one?
So I want to talk about, I have a book coming out too.
Okay.
It's a great thing, and it's not so also, because 3 हफ्ते में 2 किताबें निकलना, it's a very, very difficult magic. Because then promotions में थोड़ा सा वो हिल जाता है कि which book do I produce, and both books are important. So then thankfully my horror book came out beginning of the month of July.
Okay.
And now August 22nd is my new crime book, which is coming out.
Swipe Right to Kill. Okay. The Jaipur murder case. Wow.
The Jaipur Tinder murder case. So this is a new book that's coming out on 22nd of August. Again, true crime based on a woman called Priya Seth. शायद आप वो वीडियो देख चुके हैं जहाँ पे वो लड़की कहती है कि मैं तो सोशल वर्क करती हूँ. लोगों को
Mm-hmm.
चीट करके. और so this is the book that's coming out, and I mean I hope this does well because the case is a very well known case, and again I hope it
Okay.
sort of does well. For an author, it's हम लिखते हैं and then it's sort of you send the children out into the world. Hmm.
Hmm.
उसके बाद then you can only hope for the best, you know.
Yes. True.
So that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even like uh, the horror, the one which I wrote, some of them, like there's a story about a place in Mumbai called Mukesh Mills, which is supposed to be haunted.
Okay.
So a Bollywood
Yeah, I've heard about it.
actress was, experienced paranormal happenings while she was on shoot. So I took that seed of the story and
Okay.
put it in and
Sure.
rewrote the thing.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's how it is.
And as you have mostly crime thrillers, so can we expect some romance from your like in the future? Any
So the
book?
hills are burning. Yeah, the hills are burning has lovely romance in it as well. The hills are
Okay.
burning has a very nice young romance, of course, but very heartbreaking and very deep. क्या होता है जब आप 16 साल 17 साल के होते हो ना and we fall in love, you think that's it, वही है, that is the only love. यही अब मैं ये तो शादी भी कर लूंगा मैं इनसे, यही सच्चा प्यार है and all of that. So I wrote about the experiences of mine of falling in love during boarding school, during the revolution,
Okay.
and I looked at it from the point of view of that 16-year-old कि उसके लिए कितना
Mm-hmm.
important था वो relationship. अभी
Yeah.
तो लगता है यार क्या बेवकूफ था तू, but when you look at it, at that 16 17 years old, that is life. you know
Yeah.
एक दिन बात
That's
नहीं
true.
करती थी, मेरे साथ, मैं पगला जाता था. Why isn't she not talking to me? मैंने क्या किया, गुस्सा क्यों है, and send her a love letter. Why aren't you talking? So yeah, so that's the intensity that I've
I think
captured.
yeah, absolutely. I should give it to my son. He's in his 16 now.
Oh, he'll love it. He'll love it. He'll love it.
Yeah. And I think you should write something about midlife romance as well, because these days, like people have this midlife crisis thing going on and situationship and so many things we get to hear. So I think you should
Mm,
try your hand in that. Just a suggestion.
yeah,
That
yeah. I mean, it's sort of, books. I don't decide what I'm going to write. What happens is, I'll tell you, it's strange.
hmm.
Like for example, India's money heist. राइट,
Yeah, yeah.
इंडियाज मनी हाइस्ट, ये केस हुआ था 2008 में,
Okay.
और 2012 में मैं सावधान इंडिया चालू किया.
Okay.
अब तो 2012 से मैं ट्राई कर रहा था इस किताब या इस स्टोरी को लिखने के लिए, बट आई वाज नॉट गेटिंग एनी इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट द केस.
Hmm.
और साउथ में हुआ था, केरला में हुआ था, कोई कांटेक्ट नहीं था वहां पे. So for about 6-7 years, I just was helpless. But I really wanted to write the book. But during COVID, the connection happened.
Okay.
So then I started writing the book. So things like that happen. I have an idea and it's parked somewhere, and then some connection will happen, and then it will, sort of move. Even this horror book, the idea was there from the time I've been doing,
Hmm.
writing the screenplay and story and all of that for Fear Files.
Okay.
And I wanted to write horror,
Okay.
and as a challenge for myself as well. Can I write that genre or not?
Hmm.
So वो था. So books sort of happened very organically to me. ये भी वो जयपुर टिंडर मर्डर केस भी 2018 में हुआ था.
Hmm.
Then I was trying to write, नहीं हुआ. 2023 में 2023 में I got in touch with the police inspector who solved the case.
Okay.
His name is Gur Bhupendra Singh. And then he sort of opened the case up to me. I went and met him a couple of times in Jaipur. We sat, we discussed over the phone, lots of meetings, and then he was the one who sort of wrote the book, with me.
Okay.
And so yeah, so books happen. It's आज मैं सोचूंगा हाँ लिखते हैं but you never know what will suddenly pop up, and then I'll sort of get stuck writing that.
Okay. And I want to know about your stand-up comedian thing. How did that happen? Have you been a
Stand up.
comedian from the beginning?
So comedy happened again by accident. 2010-11 में कॉमेडी स्टोर आ रहा था इंडिया में, और
Yeah.
I was always, I loved performing on stage, being an actor, theater. I used to love doing comic roles. So वो एक open mic हो रहा था कॉमेडी स्टोर मुंबई में, the first open mic of India. And so I came to know, I applied, I wrote material, and वो मैं जीत गया.
Okay.
So that sort of said, अच्छा ठीक है, चलो तो कुछ तो है. Then I started performing. But what happened was, comedy in those days was in a very nascent stage. वो कुछ concrete
Yeah.
career या पैसे बनाने का कोई वो ही नहीं था, scope ही नहीं था. So I went back to my career of television and media, and then life takes over. Real life takes over. बच्चे हैं, EMI है, schooling है, नौकरी है, all of that, and you forget your passions. And stand-up comedy is something you have to perform every other day to be fresh, to ensure that your jokes are working. Your performance, you're also sharpening your performance every day. तो वो हो नहीं पा रहा था. So then once in a while I go back to stage, I do a couple of shows, I do corporate shows, and then I just to keep my brain active and my comic skills sharpened, I do that. But I've stopped now doing regularly. वो time ही नहीं मिलता.
I can understand. You are doing so
Yeah.
many things. And you have given such a hit show to us, Savdhan India. Whereas the people
that
of
was
India
my
would
luck.
have been, I mean, they were true at that time when it was aired.
that was by pure God's grace, because हम जब बनाते हैं शो हमें पता ही नहीं होता है कि क्या हिट होगा नहीं होगा. तो so that's the thing.
I think universe has everything planned for you.
Let's see. Till now, so far so good.
Yeah. And Godspeed.
And absolutely, yeah.
So ready for the rapid fire?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your favorite author?
Amitav Ghosh, Enid Blyton, Bill Bryson.
What are you currently reading?
Currently, I am reading The Nutmeg's Curse by Amitav Ghosh.
Okay. What is your go-to pastime?
Go-to pastime, watch movies, listen to music, write. And now these days, uselessly watch reels. वो फेसबुक
I
रील्स
can
एक
understand.
एक बार शुरू हो जाता, then you can't stop it.
Bad addiction. Bad addiction.
It's really bad. Stupid it is.
True. Define yourself in one word.
Define myself in one word. Grateful.
Wow.
I'm grateful.
That's a nice one. What word do you find hard pronouncing?
Oh, there's so many, yeah. There's a French word called hors d'oeuvres, but you spell it as hors d'oeuvres, which is basically starters. Hors d'oeuvres. The first time when I read it somewhere in a book as a hors d'oeuvres, I said, wow, हमें कैसे आएगा भैया French? That's the thing.
Okay. So, what is your most? I think you have answered this already. You told me that you prefer to write at night time. Yeah, I was about to ask you that. Okay, so let's move on to the next and the last one. Are you a procrastinator or a disciplinarian?
Absolute procrastinator. absolute
Okay.
procrastinator. It's like even you know, even when I'm writing, so I'll come to a point, and then I'll say, "यार ये कल करते हैं." So then what also I started training myself is sometimes when you're writing in the flow, वो idea तब आ जाता है.
Hmm.
And a lot of the times we don't follow through, we don't write it, and then I forget. So now
True.
these days what I do is when I'm writing, and then I decide कि यार आज और नहीं, आज थोड़ा प्रोक्रेस्टिनेट कर लेते हैं, तो दिमाग में जो है, if I'm writing about say Mona Lisa, the character, so I already know कि इस scene के बाद Mona Lisa will do this, so I quickly just make it
Hmm.
into a point form in case I forget. I put it in the manuscript, then I go to sleep. So the next morning when I come back, then I say, oh, acha, ye, chalo, theek hai, now then I continue.
Okay. You
But
just leave them
procrastinate.
at dots, and then you can, fix those
Yeah,
dots into something.
yeah, yeah. Lot of ellipses.
Okay. Nice. So, any advice you want to give to the aspiring authors, to the writers who are just starting
Um,
their journey?
so when they're starting their journey, don't write to sell books. Of course, all of us would love if our books sold lakhs and lakhs of copies. Um, but you first should write something that you want to write about, that you're
Yeah.
comfortable with. See, a lot of the writers also they say, "Arey, our self-help books bik raha hai, so I want to write a self-help book."
Hmm.
And then sometimes it's not what it doesn't come out authentic, right? Because it's not your
Hmm.
forte. You didn't write it with the purpose of being genuine. You
Hmm.
thought कि ये एक हिट किताब होगा, मैं पैसा छापूंगा, and I'll become famous. So your
Hmm.
integrity shows up in your writing. Your authenticity shows up in the writing. So one has to be
Hmm.
writing about what you know best, or what you emote with,
Yeah.
best.
Hmm.
So yeah. So as
Finding
new
your
writers,
niche.
yeah, finding your voice and finding your nation, doing the best to your abilities.
But I've heard some authors say that they also write from the market point of view. कि अभी historical fiction बिक रहा है, तो they would write on that. So do
Yes,
you
see, I
agree
mean,
that?
it's their call, right? It's their call. If they want to write historical fiction because it's selling well, let them write. But the
Hmm.
thing is, are they writing it with integrity? Is the quality of writing good enough? आज एक जमाने में to become an author used to be a privilege, an honor, a blessing.
Hmm.
Today, anybody can become an author. And I'm not
Yeah.
making a statement, but I'm saying a lot of the authors who are published,
That's. Hmm.
their quality is not up to the mark.
Hmm.
But सबको बनना है. Everybody wants that label.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
a published author.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't, of course, tell the fact that पैसे देके publish किए हुए हैं,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, but they
Yeah.
want the tag of being the
An
published
author.
author. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's so many writers now. What is the quality? There's so many publishers as well.
True.
And self-publishing options are there as well now.
Yeah.
So, if who are we to make a call on what the author wants to write? It's your call, but do it with authenticity and integrity, at
Hmm.
least so that the quality is maintained.
Yeah.
और आप ऑनेस्टली खुद को कह सकते हो कि हाँ मैं एक लेखक हूँ.
True.
You should be able to look into the mirror and say, yes, I have done my job with honesty and integrity, and I can now call myself an author.
Hmm. True. So, well, that's something really great you have said here, because I think most of the authors who are this it has become more like a rat race. Also, you can say people are so crazy that they just want to get published. And also that thing, I have seen one more thing. जैसे एक book आई and they become keen कि दूसरी book ले आए जल्दी से. Oh, somebody else is writing a book, हमारी भी आ जाए. That kind of thing is also happening.
Yeah,
So I also feel you're right. Authenticity and integrity is really required.
yeah, it is. It is.
So So lovely talking to you, sir, and
Same
I
here.
really had a wonderful time. And looking forward to really get a signed copy from you soon and
Absolutely.
reading your book and reviewing it. That would be something I would love to do because it has already created so much interest in me that you have to scan that code and then we get the music, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
really
So,
innovative.
yeah. So it's available on Amazon. All my books are available on Amazon. And you can follow me on linktree/Anirban B,
I've
linktr.ee
already
slash
subscribed to your channel also.
yay and Anirban B. So order my books.
Definitely.
Support Indian authors. That's my
Absolutely.
message to everybody.
Yeah.
बहुत हो गया जेम्स क्लेवेल ये वो बहुत हो गया.
True, true,
You
true,
know.
true. We have to support each other and we have to form a
Yeah,
community.
yeah.
I believe.
I mean, read Indian authors. There are many good Indian
Mm-hmm.
authors. Support them. Also support local bookstores. If you're buying 10 books a month, at least 3 वो दुकान से ले लो.
Mm.
Otherwise, bookstores will slowly disappear, and then it'll
Yeah,
you'll be left, stranded just buying
mm.
books from online,
That's
which
true.
which of course has a lot of piracy.
Yeah,
You don't often get original copies.
that's true.
So yeah, support Indian authors, support local bookstores.
Absolutely. Well said. So thank you, sir. And
Thank you.
looking forward to get some copies signed from you. I'm going to order your first, the horror one first, because I'm also a very much of horror lover.
Lovely. I hope you get scared and hope you are unable to sleep at night.
Okay, I'll let you know about that. So, have a great evening ahead. Bye, sir.
You too. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night.
Good night. So I was talking to actor, producer, director, and also director of Savdhan India, the most loved series of India. And I was talking to Anirban Bhattacharya. Please get his book. It's available on Amazon. Enter at your own risk in some of his amazing books. I'll drop all the links. So follow him, and also please follow my page. I'm Vanessa Joshi signing off. Bye all.